Hello everybody, Silver Picker here, and in today's video I have a new collection that I just purchased that I want to share with you. Listen to that. Ooh, do you hear that? That is music to my ears, and yours I'm sure too. And music to my eyes, or whatever the analogy there would be, is when I see a collection in a bag like this. I mean, I buy collections in jars, in tins, in bags, literally I've gotten one in a flower pot before. I have bought collections in every single shape, form, and whatever you can imagine, but when I see something like this, the Security Bank and Trust Company, I don't know when this is from, probably the 70s or 80s, man, that just gets me going. So without further ado, I'm just gonna dump this out. Let's see. Oh yeah. Woo, baby, look at that. Okay, so we have a ton of stuff here. I mean, when I'm talking about a lot of different variety, there is a lot of variety. Ooh, and a little hair too. But what is great about this collection, it has silver, it has old coins, it has world coins, US coins, it has new coins, it has literally everything. It's got tokens. I mean, look at this one. This is a Triborough Bridge and Tunnel Authority from New York City from probably the 1970s. And we've got all sorts of stuff here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through everything, organize it, and then I'll tell you what I paid for it, and also what I'm gonna do with all these coins.
NGC is the sponsor of the Silver Picker YouTube channel, and Whatnot is the sponsor of today's video. Thank you both for your support.
All right, so I've gone through everything and I've got it all lined up and organized, and I've looked through everything, and there is something for everyone in this collection. It is absolutely wild. So let's knock out some of the easy stuff first, and then we'll save some of the better things like the silver, which you see down here, for last. So first off, we've got this giant pile over here of just random world coins. These are coins that are not worth much on their own. I mean, there are a couple of nice things in here. I mean, for example, 1924 Romanian coin, right? 2 lei. Now, it's not really worth much, but it's not like just bulk. Some of it's bulk, right? Like this modern 1996 Canadian penny, but in general, we've got a whole mix of stuff over there, and that will just go into sort of my bulk jar. Then we have this whole section over here of all sorts of different tokens. Most of them are transit tokens from New York. We have 3 different types of Triborough Bridge tokens, 3 different types of New York City transit tokens, a Chuck E. Cheese token, we've got one from Toledo, Ohio, we've got one from Philadelphia, it looks like, and then we've got a whole bunch from the Garden State Parkway in New Jersey. Now, these 3, I'm pretty sure these are not actually coins. They're very worn down and they've got kind of a little sharp edge, which makes me think that these are just like punch outs from some sort of tool or something like that. I'm not really sure, but they're definitely copper and they look like coins, but I don't think that they actually are. But this is the most interesting of all of the tokens. This is not a transit token, this is not a modern subway token, a Chuck E. Cheese token, but rather this is what's called a Civil War token. And this one is dated 1864, and it says Union Forever. And why is this interesting? Well, back in the Civil War in the United States in the 1860s, coinage was scarce. It was not easy to find a lot of change, right? Stores didn't have pennies and nickels and dimes to give as change. So what they started doing is they started making their own. Companies would make their own, stores would make their own, banks would make their own, and there were all these different tokens, and usually they were, promoting the war effort. So in this case, this is a real piece of Civil War history. Over here we have a not intended for circulation Kennedy half dollar from 2004. We have a little bit of silver from the US, not much. We've got a 1962 silver Washington quarter. We've got a silver Roosevelt dime from 1955. We have 2 steel cents, obviously not silver, and we have a bunch. We've got like almost 20 little Indian head cents. Now, I already checked these. None of these are key dates or anything, but they still go for $1 or $2 a piece, which is awesome. And by the way, everything you see here will be available at my next Whatnot auction. If you haven't downloaded the app yet, you are missing out. Use my link, whatnot.com/invite/silverpicker, because if you download the app with my link, you get $15 in Whatnot credit to spend on anything you want. And at all of my auctions, I always have tons of silver coins in the buy it now for $15 or less. So you are all but guaranteed to get free silver coins just by using my link, whatnot.com/invite/silverpicker. Trust me, you do not want to miss this opportunity. Anyway, back to business over here. So we went through a bunch of the American coins, but you'll notice there is a wee little ugly penny over here. This little penny, at first I was gonna throw into the change pile, and then I flipped it over, and I saw that it had been hollowed out on the inside. Now, what is that? Have you ever seen one of these before? This is a magician's coin, and the idea is basically you hide a dime underneath it, and it looks like you've got a penny, and then you can do a magic trick where you just do something like this, and ta-da, it turns into a dime. So that is really, really cool. I've gotten these over the years, but I haven't had one in a very long time. It's a shame it's all messed up. I'm gonna try and clean it up. That is one coin that you would be allowed to clean, trust me on that. Over here, we have a whole section of copper. Now, I'm a sucker for copper. I love it just from the collectibles perspective. Obviously, it's not worth as much as silver or gold, and I'm not even as interested in it as I am in silver or gold, but there's just something about these large British pennies that I've always liked. This one is an Australian British penny from 1942. This one over here is, an English British penny. An English British penny. Okay, I'm gonna get destroyed in the comments for that one. This one is a really nice Victorian penny, I believe. It's pretty worn, so it's a little tough to see, but that looks pretty good. We've got a South African one, and this one is from somewhere in Europe, I believe. Maybe I think this is like Papal States, maybe. But anyway, we've got a whole bunch of these, which are really cool, and we've also got a whole bunch of half pennies below that as well. And those will be available in my next Whatnot auction, of course. By the way, I start everything at my Whatnot auctions at $1, so everyone has a chance to get something good. Over here, we have some interesting historical progression of Canadian nickels. We've got from the 1920s this design, from the 1940s this design, 1945 from this design, and 1946 with this design. We have 4 different versions of the Canadian nickels, which is pretty cool. This is really interesting. These over here are 100 yen coins that are commemorative for the Expo 70. So the Expo in 1970 that was in Japan, these are 100 yen coins. Now these aren't worth a ton, they're not silver, but they do go for like $5 to $10 each depending on condition, and these are in excellent shape. We've also got a Chinese cash coin. This is one area of numismatics that I am very, very lacking in. I need to learn more about this. Anybody who knows anything about this coin should let me know in the comments below. That would be great. So let's finally finish up with all of this wonderful silver that we have down here. There's a lot of world silver. We've got over here a florin from 1922. Is that right? Yes, 1921, excuse me. We've got a florin from 1921. We've got a few in varying conditions. 2 of them are hold. These are 6pence, 1929, a bunch of different dates. We've got some Australian silver. We've got a silver florin over here. I love those. It's got the emu and it's got the kangaroo, 1943. How awesome is that? And then we've got this ram over here from 1952, 1 shilling. This is pretty cool. This is an Austrian Corona, also silver. And then we've got a bunch of Canadian stuff. We have 3 Canadian quarters. We have 2 Canadian dimes. Of course, these are the silver ones. And this one's really cool. This is a Newfoundland 1941 5-cent coin. We've got 2 Swedish ore coins. And we've got one, I think this is a 10th Balboa coin over here from 1933. Pretty cool. So anyway, I got all of these coins actually from a family friend that I'd bought coins from in the past, but he found some more, so he was able to sell me these, and I gave him an extra special deal because this is a very close family friend of mine, and I'm going to be selling everything on Whatnot, and hopefully I can at least make my money back. So I love this. I'm curious to hear what your guys' favorite coins are from this collection. Put it in the comments below. I'm always curious to see what people like, what the differences in tastes are. My favorite thing from this collection is the Civil War token. That is the most unique and unusual thing, and I don't come across them that often. So let me know what you guys think, and if you guys are new to my channel, I make videos about coin collecting, precious metals investing, personal finance, and all sorts of other cool stuff. So if you're interested in that stuff, hit the subscribe button. You won't regret it. Anyway, I've got a lot more awesome stuff coming down the pike, so stay tuned, and until then, Silver Picker out.
A huge thank you to all of my wonderful patrons. You guys are amazing. If you're not yet a patron and want to become one, the links are below, and I can't wait to meet you in our private Discord server.